I wanted to ask, get your take on Harry Kane, people, while we're here. Rory, where do you think he's going to end up? Do you think he's leaving? Do you think it'll be Bayern Munich, or is there a Premier League sting in the towel in this?
I think he ends up at Bayern. Bayern have been absolutely humiliated in this transfer window so far. Every player that they've gone for has ended up at another Premier League club. I can't see them letting it happen again. I think Spurs are resigned to losing Kane at this point, and I'm not really sure. I'm not sure who else in the Premier League would go in for him now. If United hadn't just signed Højlund, then maybe. But I think he ends up at Bayern.
I don't know. I still believe that Harry Kane should stay in the Prem. Like him staying or not staying, I think I should. First of all, I would love to see him in the Prem. It doesn't matter if it's United or other club. I just want to see Harry Kane break the record, to be honest. I think he should stay to break the record. He should try to go to Man United, which is the only club that is for him at the moment, just because it's United. He would have banged at Chelsea, in my opinion, but there's no way he's going from Spurs to Chelsea. But I think if he goes to Bayern Munich, yes, he might win the Bundesliga. You might win the Champions League, but I think without breaking the record in the Premier League, you won't be remembered as if you break the record, and he should worry about it, in my opinion.
I still think he will break the record. I think he'll go.
Oh,
he can go and come back. He can go and come back.
I think he'll do 2 years. 2 years maybe at Bayern. See if he can win something and then come back. Maybe to City. Wouldn't surprise me. Haaland moves on. Couple of years' time, Kane comes to City for a couple of seasons whilst they find a new superstar striker. That's my
never thought about it this way, that he would go and come back at the age of 32, 33.
Or even just go back to Spurs. Just go back to Spurs and just be like a second option that comes on and just scores his goals here and there and just break the record like that.
If he goes to Bayern for 2 years, he wins 2 Bundesligas. So
go West Ham, do a Teddy Sheringham, still banging in goals like 35 or whatever.
Exactly.
I think at the moment the salary, the wage that I'm hearing is like close to 500 a week. This is a lot of money. If can Man United even do that? They can afford it. Will they do it? Will they put him higher than everybody else? He deserves it. 100% he deserves it. If Mane was on 400 Bayern Munich, of course Harry Kane deserves more than that. But for me, going to Bayern Munich,
this is the thing with Man United and the money. Like, we've just done a new shirt sponsor with Adidas that's putting our money up by 30 million a year. That's 30 million. When people say, buying shirts doesn't give the club more money. Maybe not directly, but it does. If you keep hitting those sales numbers, your money goes up next time round. So Liverpool had the biggest shirt deal in the country at 75 million. Man United has now gone up to 90 million. So that extra 30 million a year we're earning, that covers the wages of a player like Harry Kane, theoretically. I still think we might go in for him. Like, if Bayern get close, I'd love us to. All summer I believed it. I'm starting to doubt it more and more because we ended up paying a bit more than I thought we would for Højlund. We still got a good deal. We still got it down from sort of the 85 million they initially wanted. But if we'd have got him for maybe 45 to 50, then maybe Kane. But when we end up spending 64 million, I don't think we'll do it. We need to get Amrabat in. We need another player at the back. I think that's where we'll focus. But I want Kane to leave Tottenham. I just want him to go and win something. I feel like a player of his ability deserves it. And it scares me that he could end his career with no trophies. I know Gooners won't care. Chelsea fans won't care. But I love Harry Kane. And I want to see him win something. And look, if he goes Bayern Munich, if he was playing for Bayern Munich last season, they could have knocked City out of the Champions League. The amount of chances they created in the first leg, someone like Harry Kane's going to score some of them. And I think Harry Kane also needs to go to a club where all the pressure and expectations are not on him, where it is shared out amongst players in multiple positions at the club. I think you'll see him handle that better. When he plays for England and when he plays for Spurs, Kane will do it for us. I don't like that attitude. It has to be that the responsibility has to be spread out. So I think he'll leave. Bayern Munich is definitely the best option for Tottenham as well. It really is, because they can't afford it. They don't really want him going United, and they definitely don't want him going Chelsea or, dare I say, Arsenal next summer for free. Because, again, a lot of people think it won't happen. I never say never in football. We've seen... I'm old enough to remember Figo moving from Barca to Real Madrid. Everybody would have told you that it wouldn't happen. I've seen it. Sol Campbell. None of you, barring Mo, were born probably when that happened. And every Tottenham fan and his dog said, no way I'll ever do that to us. And he did. Harry Kane, I don't think he's as... Harry Kane's as loyal as clubs. Clubs aren't loyal. Clubs are the most disloyal people to players. When a club's done with you, They discard you like a piece of used tissue paper. Players have got to treat the clubs the same. At the end of the day, if Arsenal offer him good money and they win a Premier League next year and they're looking great and they had a Harry Kane to it, first time ever, they could do a retaining. Listen, everything's on, in my opinion. It'll be hard, but everything on. What does it say here? This is Thanos, who's a City fan, long time no see. Says every other team is competing for second place. I want to ask you, JJ, on that. Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because Dom Hussain believes that you guys are going to push City harder than Arsenal next season.
I can see where he's coming from.
I mean, look, I can see where he's coming from. Do I believe that? No. I think let's just pump the brakes on a bit. I think it's an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. I mean, look, we're seeing a lot of outgoings, some new players coming in. Our attack looks really, really good, especially going off pre-season. And I think we've got a lot of options going forward. In midfield, there's still we need to make some signings. And if I'm being honest, if we don't make a couple midfield signings and a centre-back, for me, I just don't see us being able to challenge City on all fronts. I think we'll still be a bit inconsistent from a defensive standpoint. And I think just in regards to quality at the moment, because we've let go of about 5-6 midfielders and have only brought in 2. So I don't know. I disagree with Hussam on a lot of things, and I think I disagree with Hussam on this one as well. I mean, look, in an ideal world, if all the stars align again, then yes, Liverpool are the only team that have proven in recent years that they can win a Premier League against City. But that's expecting us to be defensively solid, not have any injuries, and then all of our signings to hit the ground running. And I'd be a bit deluded if I was just going to sit here and be like, Liverpool going to go and do this. I mean, look, every fan wants their team to win the league, but especially considering last season, I think us being third, second, I think that's a potential possibility. But to stand there and be like, you know what, we're definitely going to push City harder than Arsenal. Look, I'm not too convinced.
It depends definitely on the transfer window as well. Definitely, like if you give obviously a lot of things have to happen. Liverpool have to sign a lot of players, but if you give Klopp and Arteta like the same tools, for example, I would be much more scared of Klopp's Liverpool than Arteta's Arsenal in terms of
100%.
challenging City. But it's a huge if on whether they get those tools. That's the only question mark for
me. Exactly. As I said, the benefit that we've got is that we've still got a big proportion of our team that have gone and won it all. And we've got the manager that's done it and won it all as well. So he's a better manager than Arteta. And if they had the same team with the same quality players, I'd argue Klopp wins 9 times out of 10. So but that's just based on, us kind of getting our business done. And right now I'm a bit, the business has been good and it's exciting, seeing some new players, seeing some young players come through in pre-season, but we just don't know what that constitutes and what that level is, because we're now, we've got nothing to base this team off. This is going to be the first time we've gone and had a team without Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, Naby Keita. We just had a mass exodus. So we're gonna have to just wait and see how that looks.
But on paper,
you've
improved. On paper, you've improved though.
In what way?
In what way? You've added McAllister and Szoboszlai, both who are, again, McAllister is a good player. I think Szoboszlai is fantastic. Like I've watched a lot of games. I wanted him at Chelsea personally. Yeah. You still got Van Dijk. You've got Konate, who's French international. You've got Trent, who is, yes, defensive wise has his, lacking his capabilities, but going forward he's one of the best. You still got Robbo, you still got Mo Salah. Why can't Liverpool compete? In my opinion, for the only reason people are putting Arsenal there is because recency in terms of
but you have to.
They literally just did it last year, but Liverpool have done it for the 4 years before. So why can't they do it again?
Remember, with football, and just like as this sports, you're only as good as your last performance or your last season. I can't go and sit here and expect Liverpool to go and reach those heights, because someone could sit here on the flip side and be like, oh, Van Dijk's actually declining. What if this is the year that Salah declines? Which I don't think is going to happen. Robertson hasn't had a good pre-season, and last season wasn't great either. What happens there? Is he going to be able to hit those heights again? We're playing a different system, and he's struggling to kind of adapt to this kind of inverted fullback role when he's playing as a defender. So I'd still want to go and see some signings. I'm happy with McAllister and Szoboszlai coming in 100%. But again, I'm now expecting them to come and hit the ground running, right? I know what Fabinho provided for me when he was at his pomp, and obviously he's on his way to Al Ittihad. So for me, we're moving away from what we recognize and what we've seen and have evidence of that works, and going away and moving to something now that is new. So I can't sit here with 100% confidence and stay and be like, yeah, why can't Liverpool go and challenge? I mean, yeah, of course we could. Like if the stars align, 100% we could, because we've done it before. But that's kind of considering, and that's kind of we need the situation of Liverpool to be. Szoboszlai comes in and he's one of the signings of the season. McAllister comes in and it's like he's been there for 10 years at Liverpool. Trent's back and getting 20 assists in the league, and so is Robertson, and Salah's getting 30 goals a season. And Nunes is popping as well. There's so many kind of, factors that need to go in our favour. I just don't know if that's going to work yet, because a lot of the factors are new, and I just don't know how they're going to work.
I mean, you won how many games in a row? You won like 7 games in a row. Arsenal crumbled at the end of the season. So if you're as good as your last game or your last couple of games, you should be.
That's true. Based on the last couple of games, 100%. But then it's a great example. It's like, I'm a Curtis Jones fan, right? But a lot of people go and say, based on the last games, we can't use Curtis Jones as a barometer on how good Liverpool are, or should Curtis Jones be in the team, because it's only been 11 games. So the sample size is small. So you can flip it both ways. But look, Liverpool, when we're at our best, and it's a cliche, but we can beat anyone when we're on form. And we showed it even last season as well. So we just have to just wait and see. And I mean, I'm excited to go and see how these new signings, how they show out, man.
A couple of essential pieces that are missing from Liverpool. Number one, with Ibrahima Konaté's injury record, he missed more than third of the season last year, 13 games.
Right.
And I'm looking at Matip and Gomez. Apparently, Jurgen Klopp assuming that Gomez is just a right back now, a backup, and you have only Matip who has fallen down a cliff, to be honest. And if Ibrahima Konaté gets injured, there's nobody to cover. Also, with the way they play football now, they need a competent DM that can actually stop the attacks, because looking at the preseasons and even at the end of last season when they were winning, they were still conceding a lot of chances through that midfield, because Fabinho was incompetent. He was just a passenger on the pitch. And having Lavia or whoever, Lavia's inexperienced for me. He's not ready to take that role as the main defensive midfielder at Liverpool. I would like to see someone like Palhinha next to Trent in that midfield, and Robertson play that left centre back, fly forward or whatever, but be that extra defender when needed be. And you don't have that at the moment. You actually don't have a competent DM now to stop the opposition attacking you, and you don't have a backup for Konaté. So everything is a big if.
Exactly. No, we don't have one. But with the Lavia thing, I hear what you're saying about, he's young, he's not ready. It's fair opinion. But you're only ready if you go and play games. You're only ready if you go and prove it. Like, we're forgetting that Caicedo and Lavia are a similar age. And Caicedo's had maybe he's had half a season or a couple games more than Lavia in terms of sample size and what he's done in the Premier League. But because Brighton are higher up in the table, we're looking at Caicedo as a better option now. As a baller, no one can go and tell me here that Lavia isn't a ridiculous baller. Like, you don't come from City and you don't get the praise you do from De Bruyne if you're not that good. And to have the guts to be like, you know what, I'm going to go Southampton, and to go and actually become their main kind of starting pivot is for me shows a lot. Now, I want to put this to people, right? If you were to swap Caicedo from last season and play him at Southampton and put Lavia in the Brighton team, do the positions of the teams change that much? I personally don't think so. And I'm not here saying Caicedo's not better than Lavia or anything. I'm not trying to go and say that. What I'm trying to say though is we're not going to know how good he is until he goes and plays. Bellingham only gets
that's a big risk to put all your season, your main DM to put. That's a massive risk.
Yeah, but if Liverpool are looking at the season, right? If Liverpool are looking at the types of signings we've made, we haven't gone out and bought. We're going to go and buy just ready-made midfielder to go and play. You're looking at Szoboszlai, great signing. He's 22 years old, still very young. McAllister's of a different age. We're looking at Lavia. We're not looking at players that are 28, 29 and are at their peak, ready to go and plug in and play. And I agree. In an ideal world, I love Palhinha. I love Palhinha. From Fulham, I love him. But we don't know how good Lavia is until he goes and plays him. And for me, I think Klopp's looking at it and saying, you know what? We're trying to go and, even if we don't win the league next season, we're trying to go and secure Liverpool for the next 2 years. So after I'm gone, the team's now ready, and you've got Lavia there who's had 2 seasons being a DM. Would I love a more experienced kind of player in there alongside a Lavia? 100%. But we know how Liverpool do business. It's just not going to go and happen. You can't spend 50 million on a 19-year-old player and expect him to go and sit on the bench. Liverpool are never going to go and do that. So if Liverpool are up for spending 50 million on Lavia, that's the guy they go and see to go and work. And you don't know how good he is until I mean, look at Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez, he's young at Benfica because he's gone to the World Cup, had a good World Cup. Chelsea have decided to put their money into him, and now look.